So we're going to talk about that guy named Goss that I talked about yesterday that has an IQ off the charts. Legend has it that when he was a child, he was a pain in class, not unlike some people we know. And that the teacher could not keep him focused on what she was talking about. And she thought that he was just dumb and didn't know anything. And one day she had it up to here. You know what that means when you've had it up to here? And she said, I don't know his first name, but Goss, go in the corner and count the numbers between 1 and 100. So add these up. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all the way to 100. Thinking that he would stay busy for a while and she could get the rest of the, he's here. This guy named Goss was a brat in school, and his teacher was really upset with him. So she told him to go in a corner and add the numbers between 1 and 100. Okay? So she wants him to go and say 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, all the way to 100, thinking he would keep busy. Well, little Goss, who was actually a genius, he had an IQ of well over 200, he said, well, the answer to that is 5,050. And the teacher said, go in the corner and do what I said. He goes, no, it's 5,050. I already did it. I did it in my head. And what he did was he took the numbers like that, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all the way to 100, and then he visualized in his brain the same numbers in reverse order. You see what I'm doing? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All the way to 1, right? And he noticed in his brain that all of these columns add up to 101. Yes? And there's 100 columns because it goes from 1 to 100. So we multiply 101 by 100 and we get 10,100. Okay? But we only need half of them. So you divide that by 2 and you get 50/50. Well, if you look at your formula sheet, the formula says that S of n equals n over 2 a1 plus an. And this is how you find the sum of a series of the first n numbers. So let's take this series.
Yes.
So if I want to do what the teacher asked Goss to do and add the numbers from 1 to 100, how many numbers are in that series? 100, right? So n would be 100. And we divide that by 2. What's the first number in the series? 1. The first number in the series is 1. And an would be the 100th number in the series, or the an is the last number in the series they want us to add, would be 100. And when you do that, it's 50 times 101, which is 50/50. And that's what he did in his head. He, in essence, came up with that formula. It made sense to him. What you're doing today will involve that second formula, but in some cases you need to use the first formula too. So it's getting a little more complicated, okay? For all the problems you're going to do today, you are going to find S of n, but sometimes you don't have enough information to use that second formula. You got to use the first one to find information you're missing, and then use the second one to find the information I want, okay? So, let me hand you your paperwork, and then we'll do some on the board. On number 1, you're going to evaluate each arithmetic series, which means find the sum. The instructions on here just say evaluate. I added find the sum. So we know that A1 equals 26, AN equals 68, and N equals 8. Well, they want us to find the sum using that second formula. And in this case, I have everything I need. So it's just plug and chug. The sum of the first 8 numbers of that series equals 8 over 2 times 26 plus 68. The first 3 or 4 are going to be easy because they give you the 3 things that are in that formula, and all you have to do is plug and chug. So that's going to be 4 times 94, which is 376. On number 5, we have a slight issue. We have A1 equals negative 11, D equals negative 3, and N equals 5. So we have the 2 formulas. AN equals A1 plus D times N minus 1, and SN equals N over 2 A1 plus AN. And they want us to find SN. But I have N, I have A1, but I don't have AN. So I'm going to have to use the first formula to find AN and then plug it into the other formula. Okay? So AN equals negative 11, which is A1, plus D, which is negative 3, times 5 minus 1, negative 11, plus negative 3 times 4, negative 11 minus 12, negative 23 is AN. Now I put them in this formula. The sum of the first 5 terms is 5 over 2, negative 11 plus negative 23, which is 2.5 times negative 34, which is negative 85. Let's check that second one we just did. If my first term is negative 11 and D is negative 3, then my second term is negative 14. And then my third term, when I subtract 3, is negative 17, negative 20, and negative 23. Those are the first 5 terms of the series, right? Somebody add those up for me on the calculator and see what you get. And that's why it's the sum of the first 5 terms, which is what they wanted. Okay? But this is how you do it with the formulas, and I want you to use the formulas. Okay, so to find S of N, I need N, I need A1, and I need AN, right? Do I have N? N is 10. Do I have A1? Negative 22. The first term is A1. And I need to find AN. And they gave me the series, but they didn't go all the way to 10. Now you can keep going to 10, but what if they ask you for the sum of the first 4,000? You're not going to be able to do that for homework. So you need to be able to use the other formula. So when I use the other formula says AN equals A1 plus D times N minus 1. Everybody recognize that formula? So AN equals the first term plus the distance between terms, which is negative 8 and 10 minus 1. Everybody see why it's negative 8? I am adding negative 8 each time to get from negative 22 to negative 30, negative 30 to negative 38. So this is going to be negative 22 plus negative 72, which is negative 94. So AN is negative 94. Everybody get that? Yeah. We're ready to find the sum because we have everything we need. The sum is N over 2. I'm a teenager again. A1 is minus 22 plus AN is negative 94, which is 5 times negative 116, whatever that is.